Hello syntax lover. In this video I will be talking about some of the important terminology which very often you will be encountering them in the theory question. For example, class, instance, visibility. What are these all about? So for that, let me show you the program which I have written that will make you clear about these definitions. So I have created one class by the name called oops underscore ptr point to remember. That's how I have defined it. If you see over here, I have got couple of variables, and these variables are declared directly inside the class. And then I have got a method called set, another method called calculate. And if you notice over here, I also have a variable inside the method. So couple of variables directly inside the class and a variable within a method. Is there any difference between these two? Obviously there are. Second important thing, there is something called public over here, public and public, but over here I have got private. So how these two are different in regard to variable and regard to method. Now lastly, in this particular program you will not find public static void main. So how is the compilation of this program is going to take place and then the execution? So for that reason, let me show you the link. Here I have provided you 9 very important small objective related questions. I will provide you the link below in the description. Make sure you go through this question one by one. So let's start the question. Why an object is called an instance of a class? You must have seen this particular term called instance, and I will show you today also. So how did I answer this question? Since an object contains all the necessary information that include data member and member function specified inside the class, so we call it as an instance of a class. Let me show you that. So here is my program. If I right click, let me go for compilation first, and there is no syntax error. Now as I right click on this, you see something called new oops ptr brace close. What is this? This is called constructor. Don't worry, there will be a complete playlist in regard to this terminology, but for the time being let us understand a very brief introduction about this concept. See over here something called name and instance. So this means I'm trying to answer this question. So instance is the one which hold all the information about the class, that include the data member and the function, and then the reason why we can able to access anything with the help of this instance. So let me give a name called instance1. That's what I'm giving, and I click the OK button. Now what this instance is going to have? Everything that this particular class has got. So if you see this program minutely, I have got couple of methods over here, set and calculate. So if I right click over here, I will be getting both the method set and calculate. Now comes the question that which method I need to execute at first. Just imagine logically, if I fire or if I trigger this function first, will this variable have their value? I'm pausing over here. The answer is no. Because until and unless you fire this function, how this variable will be initialized? If you see over here in the comment section, I clearly written that these are declaration, but here I'm doing the initialization. So that means until and unless I initialize these variables with the help of invoking this function, the following statement will be meaningless. So at that point of time, I will not get the result which I'm expecting. Let's check out. So rather executing this function first, I will call this particular function. So as I do that, see, I'm clicking over here. What output I'm going to get? I'm going to get the output as 0. I'm getting the output as 0. That means it solves another question. What is that? By default, when you are declaring a variable, by default, when you're declaring a variable like what I've done over here, that is a and b, they have got a value 0. That's the reason when you're performing this computation, they are all adding up as a 0, 0 plus 0, 0 minus 0, 0 into 0, and everything what is coming over here is also 0. So that means a default value of a variable in regard to Java would be 0. Make sure about that. Okay, so that's what I was trying to prove if you directly call this function without giving a call to the set function. Okay, so now let's fire the program again. So now I'm going to click the function called set. So once I do that, once I have given a call to the set function, so this particular portion got fired. Now I will be giving a call to the function called calculate. So here is the call to calculate function comes, and this time you see the result as you expected, that is -5. How it is working? A is 2 plus 3 is 5. So here comes the 5. A is 2 minus 3, that is -1. So 5 into -1 would be -5, and that is what getting printed over here. Point to be noted. See over here, the function has also got parentheses, and this computation is also taking place within parentheses. In my last video, I will provide you the link where you can check out the concept of operator overloading or polymorphism. Go through that video to understand the detail about this. That means the same operator is performing multiple functionality in different cases. So from this particular video, what you can understand, you have to be very careful about which function to be triggered first and then which one. Otherwise, the execution will not be as expected. Okay, so we understood the overview of this program. Now let's try to answer this question minutely. You will get this particular link in the description below. So we understood that as we create the instance, the whole information of the class will be stored within the instance. So what is an instance? The one that contains all the information about the class. What are methods? The data in an object is accessed through the member function. Please see this line, is access to the member function of the object. These member functions are called method. What do I mean by that? When I'm right clicking it, what the statement is coming? See, as I'm right clicking over here, if you see this line very minutely, what is the name of this? This is the name of the object or the instance. And what is this? This is the name of the class. So the object is been created from the class itself. And now when I'm giving a call to the following function, what actually happening? It is the instance, it is the object that is calling the set function. So the object name is ins1. So it is ins1.set. It is ins1.calculate. So it is the instance which is giving a call to these functions. That's what I have written in this particular definition. What are methods? And the methods are the one which has been invoked by the object. And what is there inside the method? The role of the method is to access these variables, either to assign some value or else to perform some calculation. So these methods will be responsible for handling these variables. Without the method, you cannot work on these variables. So remember, methods are very important feature of an object-oriented programming for handling the variables, and these methods are always accessed by the object. You are not accessing the method directly, it will be accessed through the help of an object. Okay, now what is a variable declared inside a method or a block known as? What is a variable declared inside a method or a block known as? Like in this case here, what I'm doing, I'm declaring a variable inside a block. See, inside a block or inside a method. In that case, this particular variable will be known as local variable. So any variable that is declared inside a method or a block will be termed as local variable. What will be the opposite of this? When you are declaring a class variable in the when you're declaring a class variable inside a class, in that case we will call it as an instance variable. A class variable which is available for the entire class is called instance variable. Like in these two cases, a and v are called as instance variable because they are available for the entire class. So when I'm saying it is available for entire class, what do I mean by that? These variables are available in respective functions. See, here I am using the set function, here I am using the calculate function. In both the function, this variable is available. But if you try to access this variable in some other function outside calculate, you won't be able to do that because it is local to this particular function. So you need to understand this concept again and again. Okay, now how do you, or which unit of the class gets called when the object of the class is created? And you saw its constructor. See over here, when I am right clicking over here, Let me do that once again. So when I'm right clicking over here, what is this? This is called constructor. So when you are creating an object, you are basically calling the constructor. That's what I try to mean. So constructor get called during the object creation method. Okay, don't worry if you fail to understand these definitions, because separate playlist will be there for these terminologies. What is a visibility modifier? This is a very important question. What is a visibility modifier? It is also called access specifier. It is used to restrict the access of a specific variable and method from outside the class members. What do I define for that? What I mean is private and public. These are called access specifier, or you can call them as visibility modifier. Now in the question you might come across different terms. That's the reason I'm introducing the same thing that are called by different terminology, so that whichever form appears, you won't be having any problem to answer. So access specifier means it is restricting the access of the specific variable outside the class members. That means over here, as I said, that this two are instance variables, so you can access them in multiple method. But this is a local variable, so its life or its scope is available within this particular function only. I use a word called scope, and that's the reason the next question comes up. Define a variable scope. The program part in which a particular piece of code or a data value, example variable, can be accessed is known as variable scope. Like for example this one, this particular variable scope is restricted within this particular function. I repeat, the life of this particular variable is available only within this particular method. If you try to access this particular method outside, I mean to say, if you try to access this variable outside this method, you won't be able to do it, because it is restricted within this particular function only. The same thing I can call it with the term called visibility. A visibility is related term with this scope, which refers to whether one can access a given variable from a given scope of the program. So the life of a instance variable is available in all the method, but a local variable is restricted only within that given function. Now there are two more definition you can come across, that is called local variable and a class variable. So local variable, a variable declared inside a method or a block, you can call it a local variable, and a class variable which is available for the entire class, like what you saw over here. So from this particular program you can understand that these two variables are the class variable, so it is available in all the method, but this is a local variable, so it's restricted within the given method. So I believe that this particular program help you to understand all these 9 questions, and they are very commonly asked in different form in the exam. So make sure you go through this video again, download the file, and try to understand all these definition minutely. In my next video I will be coming up with few more programs related with class. Until then, have a nice time.